There's a strange loneliness in this generation. Everyone's connected, posting, and talking, but almost nobody is saying how they actually feel. A lot of people are silently drowning while they're posting memes and going to work and replying, I'm good, and pretending everything's all right. But I think that's why it matters so much, not because it's an internet trend and not because it's a hashtag for 1 month out the year. I think it's because people are genuinely tired. Feel me? Like mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And honestly, a lot of people cannot recognize themselves anymore. What's going on, y'all? You know what it is. You see the title of the video, you see the thumbnail, you know what's going on. In cards, you see it. Look. Mental Health Month. It's about that time of the year. And since it is, why not make a video for this time of the year? I do these type of videos a lot, covering mental health and such, and what better time than now, So, first of all, the world moves too fast, right? No surprise. Oh, the world moves too fast. You knew that. Don't even play dumb. And stop falling over. Anyways, look, I think one of the biggest reasons people are struggling now is because the world never slows down, right? Your brain barely gets any time to breathe. I look stupid. I'm taking this off. Hold on. I kind of look stupider now. It's low-key giving like psycho, like, oh, my XP bar is so low. We're not gonna get on that topic. We don't do that here. We don't do the controversies. We don't do that here. All right, we speak positivity. Yeah, let's get back to the video. Okay, so your brain barely gets any time to breathe. Right, time's always moving, and you gotta keep moving. You don't want to be stuck, anchored down, and holding on to nothing. So every day you wake up, notifications, bad news, pressure, comparisons, expectations. Right, you open social media, and suddenly everyone richer than you, everyone happier than you, they more attractive than you, they more successful than you. LARPing, snipers. And after a while, right, your mind is going to start believing that you are falling behind in life. Let me tell you right now, right, I was at that point in my life too. There was a huge point in my life where I was like, I'm behind. Everybody's doing so good. Everybody's doing amazing, and I'm working minimum wage. Relax. Let's calm down, because clearly, yeah. But I was at that point in my life too. I was like, I'm a bum. Everybody got cars and whips. Everybody moving out. They going out of state. It don't matter. Okay? The thing is that everybody's on their own timing. Everyone has their own clock. That's up to you whether you start yours or not, right? And sometimes it's not even on you. Sometimes it's really not your fault. And, there's other given circumstances and variables that play into that same thing of, where you are in life. I can definitely say that for the point that I was in, when I was in that, was genuinely not on me. And look, if it's my fault, I'll say that. I have no shame in being wrong. I simply just did not have the resources to do what I wanted to do. I knew what I needed to do. I just did not have the resources in hand to do so. So, back to the point, right? Back to the point. You're going to start believing that you're falling behind in life, even when you are trying your best, right? People don't realize how exhausting it is to constantly compare your real life to somebody else's highlight reel. And that alone is absolutely going to destroy your mental health over time. This is a messy video. I'm trying to keep everything light. Okay, this is a pretty heavy topic, given the time of the year and current generation and everything. I'm not joking about it. This is serious. This is a serious note. And, everybody has mental health things, everybody goes through problems, Sonder, everybody has their own life, everybody goes through their own things and unique experiences. I'm here to give those people a voice, and the people who are afraid to speak up, hey, I'll speak for you. And look, you got no one to talk to, I got you, bro. And look, you feel like nobody understands you, I got you. I'm here The next point I want to get to is men's mental health. I am aware that a men's mental health is a separate thing, but it's also mental health. So I feel just throw it all in one video, So I want to talk about the boys for a minute, right? Because a lot of men, not doing too well right now, right? And nobody is really checking up on them, as a guy, right? When your homies hit you up, it's just like, what you doing? Nothing. You want to get food? All right. That's it. And we never really talk about it. It would just kind of go. If we know or we're aware that somebody's going through something, we're not gonna address it. We're not gonna be like, hey, are you sad? No, we're gonna be like, yo, bro, let's pop out. I don't know. Anything but talk about it for real. Like, that's basically what it is. It's like, hey, I'm gonna dance around this little topic, but I ain't gonna play the music though. Anyways, right, as a man, you grow up hearing things like, man up, stop crying, be strong, handle yourself, crying for girls, don't do that. Oh, don't tell nobody about your problems. I can definitely say that I went through that, and I'm still currently going through that. A lot of people in my life, and especially, the OGs and the men's side and everything, they're all like, hey, don't cry. That's for females. You're not a female, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm not, but ain't nothing wrong with it either, bro. Like, you wonder why you depressed, and like, you wonder why you struggling so much, why you feel like you got nobody, because you're not speaking on it, man. You gotta talk to people, bro. And ain't no shame in being a human, So, with these certain things, right, you eventually create a generation of men who don't learn how to express feelings in a healthy way. And as we know how generations work, those lead to generational curses. Generational curse meaning you have this set people who don't do those things. They don't express their feelings. Then they go tell their sons, hey, don't do that. Then those sons tell their sons, hey, don't do that. Then those sons tell their sons, don't do that. You're creating an endless chain. It's like those posters you see back then where it's like, oh, this post has bad luck. Send this to 15 people to deflect it. No. That's not how it works, especially not this kind of thing. That's not gonna do it, right? So they learn to suppress, hide, distract, and numb themselves. And a lot of men are struggling silently because they think opening up will make them weak, or people will see them in a different light or whatever, right? And the reality is holding in everything is going to destroy you, right? There's only so much that you can fit into a bottle, and so that thing just, there's only so much you can bottle up until that bottle's full, and there's only one way to get that bottle not full anymore, so take some out. And you know what happens when that happens? You end up taking it down on the wrong person, the wrong time, wrong people that you didn't mean to. Then you gotta go back and be like, hey, I'm so sorry, I'm just going through the wrong thing right now, and da. Or if you don't do that, now you have people wondering, why is he doing that? Why is he acting like that? But you're too afraid to open up and be like, hey, I'm hurting, And that's, hey, cause and effect, domino effect, whatever the effect is, you're affecting people. I'll say that, okay? So, the scary part, right? I think one of the worst parts about this whole thing is that men are definitely just are suffering and refuse to ask for help, right? And they start to live with it quietly, and then I don't know why exactly. I haven't done my research on why, biologically or mentally, whatever, but it always leads to anger. Every man who holds in their own hardships and struggles that eventually turns to anger. And I've seen it myself because I have done that myself. When you hold in a lot of things, you end up angry, irritable, and it becomes very easy to just to blow a fuse, You become very short-tempered, and anything and anyone will upset you, and you end up taking that out on them, And then like I said, it becomes a whole thing. You end up apologizing. I'm so sorry. I'm going through this own thing right now. Da, 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 da. I don't say these things without real research and experience. I'm not giving y'all advice from things that I've never been through before. If I'm giving you advice, this is coming from me, from my own experiences, okay, from my trials and tribulations, and I'm trying to tell you, hey, I've been through it. I know how this ends, so I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna end if you keep doing this, so then you can make sure that you don't get that end. Do we understand? I feel like you do, so we're gonna move on. You do? Okay, we're gonna move on. Okay, let's go. So, it's gonna turn to anger, right? Then you start isolating, and eventually you become depressed, right? Then, if and you become empty, right? And at a point, you know, if you're that kind of person, you know, this isn't for every guy, every person in the world, but for some people, it will turn to addiction. You know, a lot of alcoholics form through some kind of trauma that they refuse to speak on. You know, I can definitely say that one of the reasons that I started on that good cushion, though, that good green, you know, was because I was going through my own things, and I was like, hey, I don't like feeling this way. Watch this. I'm smiling again. I'm good. Hey, I'm hungry now. Let's eat. You know, that's what it is. That's what it became for me. I wouldn't say addiction. You know, I will say that. You know, that good green, that grass. You know, that it definitely can be addicting. You know, I will absolutely say, and I'm no way defending the good green in any way, you know. I will say that it helps for me, you know, but it's also because I've had ADHD my whole life, and I've been medically diagnosed since a kid, you know, since I was little. So, you know, whenever I tried different medications, they didn't work out for me. So when I got older, about 15, 16, I was like, hey, all my friends are smoking, you know, all my friends are, you know, and I feel like this could work for me, you know, because I want to be able to focus and do things and get things done, but still have an appetite to eat, you know, because that's my biggest problem, is that the medications would suppress my need to eat, you know, so I wouldn't eat, and I ended up really, really underweight. You can see my ribs and everything, and I was way too small for my age, and I was way underweight for my age and my height. It didn't look right on me, right? So I started, you know, no peer pressure. I did that on my own. I was like, hey, I want to try. Let me try. I did, and I ain't turned back since, right? Because it works for me. I do it. I get my stuff done fast, efficiently. I get it done fast, efficiently, right? And then I can go eat. I can eat. I can actually, like, eat food without feeling horrible and, like, feeling like throwing up. You know, it's amazing. I love it so much. I don't love but I love the outcome. And now, in no way am I saying that you should use the good green to escape or run away from your problems. If you have a problem or anything like that, you need to face it head on before you try suppressing it. Now, again, I'm going to remind you, I did not use it to suppress anything or to hide or run away from anything. I used it because, hey, let me try something. You know, I tried this, and that did not work. You know, so let me try this. You know, this sounds like I've been studying and watching videos. I understand that what comes with this and what comes without it. You know, what comes with it positively and negatively. And I know that if I try this and then okay, whatever. Let's get back to the video. Okay, it could turn into addiction. You know, whenever you're so alone and suffering quietly, and isolated and depressed and empty, you could run into addiction, which is the last thing you want to do, right? And sometimes all a man really wants to hear is just, you know, are you okay? And we want that person to really mean it, you know, not just like, hey, you good? We want, like, a real sit down, a real comfortable way, in a quiet, safe environment where we feel that we can express emotions and be asked, are you okay? And really tell you, hey, to be honest, I'm not okay. I'm going through this, and that. I just lost the kids, and, you know, guys got divorced and lost the kids in the house. She took the house. She took, you know, and she pawned away the wedding ring, Hey, look, it happens. It happens, okay? The danger of silence, right? Now we're gonna go back to the general. This is for everybody, everybody, right? The danger of silence, right? Silence is dangerous, especially whenever your mind starts to become your enemy, right? Because once negative thoughts sit with you long enough, they're gonna start sounding like facts. You're gonna be like, okay, I think, I think, I think I'm just gonna like unsubscribe from life, and then your mind's like, okay, I'm gonna unsubscribe from life at some point. You know, it's whenever you sit with something for so long, it becomes fact. You know, growing up, I believed if you play hide and seek in the dark at night, a ghost will take you and possess you, and then they will replace you with a different version of you from a different universe, and then you're for that you that isn't actually you is living the rest of your life in your universe now, while you're getting trapped in some other dimension where things are not right. You know, and you know, I lived that for a long time, and eventually, you know, you have some cousins, some homies who want to play. Hey guys, it's 3 a.m. Let's play hide and seek, and I tell them that I'd be like, hey, I don't want to get possessed by a ghost, and they look at me crazy. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you don't know? You get taken by a ghost, bro. Like you're gonna like get transported to another dimension and replaced, bro. Like this, you can't do that. And they're like, you're stupid. That's not true. Exactly my point. When you sit with something for so long, it eventually starts sounding like facts. You start believing you're not enough, hard to love, failing, behind, useless, and mental health gets scary because this battle is invisible. Nobody else can see what you're going through. Nobody else knows unless you tell them, right? Some people fight demons in their head while they smile in public every day, you know, and that's why kindness matters a lot more than people think, because you never know what someone is really carrying internally. Now, you know, over time, I've learned a lot about social skills and social cues, and just general kindness. You know, especially working in somewhere in where customer service is very important. You eventually pick up things, and you're like, oh, man, these customers are so mean to me. Now I have every reason to be nice to everyone. You know, these customers are so mean to me. I don't want to be that guy. I need to be nice to every customer. And matter of fact, every person in my life. And let me just be nice to everybody. Because why are we being rude, guys? Why are we being rude? There's no reason to be mean to each other. You don't even know dude over there, but you're hating on him. You're talking about, hey, look at this big foot, look at the big feet having it. Hey, you don't even know, dude. If you're one of those people, hey, we're aware. We know. Okay? We know you're insecure. Let's just be nice, okay? Because everybody is ugly to somebody. Huh? Yeah. Shout out DZ. Depression does not always look sad. I think people misunderstand mental health sometimes, because depression won't always look like crying in your room in the middle of the night. Sometimes it's just not being motivated, feeling numb, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, avoiding people, or losing passion for the things that you used to love. Right? Sometimes it looks like laughing the loudest in the room because you don't want nobody to notice. You know? And anxiety isn't just being nervous, right? It's overthinking everything, your chest feeling heavy, your mind never shutting off, or constantly preparing things that will never happen, right? Mental health problems are real, even if they are invisible. Now let's get to the point of healing. Okay, healing is weird because it's not linear. Linear meaning it's just a straight line, just like it doesn't go from boom, 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 boom. It goes boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's a whole thing. You're right. It's never just. You're not just gonna ride through it. You're gonna be like, okay, this is bad. Boom. You know what? Maybe it's not that bad. Boom. Okay, it's bad. Boom. You know what am I tripping for? Boom. You know what am I tripping for? Boom. Then you're like, oh, I remember this happened. Boom. And then you're like, man, that was in the past. Boom. You know, it's crazy. Okay, it doesn't just, okay, you get the point. I think you do. We're gonna move on. I think people need to understand that healing does not mean becoming emotionless, right? It means learning to live without letting what happened to you or your own pain control your life, right? It means understanding yourself better, being kinder to yourself, right? Learning healthy habits and when to rest and how to ask for help, right? And honestly, sometimes healing starts with just simply saying and admitting I am not okay, and that takes courage, right? And it definitely takes more courage than people realize. Now, I want to say this, okay? First of all, you are not weak, okay? Struggling emotionally does not make you weak. Crying does not make you weak. Being overwhelmed does not make you weak. Needing help does not make you weak. You're a human. Humans were never meant to carry everything alone. Let's remember, humans, right? We move in herds. We move in crowds. That's humans. Since the dinosaurs, no, we weren't alive during dinosaurs. Since the cavemen, right? Since the ice age, we've been moving in packs. You know, humans thrive on society, on community. This is humans biologically up here, body, everything. You will go insane if you don't have some kind of sense of community or team around you. You know, humans were never meant to carry everything alone. I think society praises people for surviving quietly instead of healing properly, and that needs to change, especially for the men. You know, too many people are dying from battles that they never speak about, right? And too many people lose themselves because they think silence is strength. It's not. Real strength is honesty, self-awareness, and choosing to heal instead of pretending. Snipers. Social media and escapism. We know where this is going. Snipers. You hear them? Lock in. So, a lot of people don't heal anymore, right? They distract themselves. That constant scrolling, stimulation, noise, you know, because silence forces you to sit with yourself. When I say sit with yourself, I say this a lot. When I say sit with yourself, I don't mean just sitting there, right? Just, my life is horrible. You know, no. What I mean is, you sit there and you talk to yourself up here, right? And you can reassure yourself up here, and you're just like, I'm not okay, and things need to change. That's simply what it is. You are simply talking to yourself, not literally, right? I'm not sure really how to explain it. I just found that saying sitting within yourself or sitting with yourself was the easiest way to explain it that I feel anybody can really understand. What I really mean is just, look, you need to sit there and reflect. That's the word. Oh my goodness. We finally found it. Okay. But when you sit within yourself or with yourself, right, it's the silence becomes uncomfortable. But eventually you have to face yourself, right? Eventually you have to face your pain and trauma and habits and your thoughts. Otherwise, those distractions become addictions. Again, same thing with the addictions, you know. You keep distracting yourself, and you're like, there's only so much I can distract until I can't do it anymore. I need a little boost to help me distract. Oh, wait, look at this. Oh, wait, look at this. Oh, wait, look at this. You understand it? Because and the problems will never actually leave. They're gonna wait for you in silence to hit you at your lowest. You know, you're just gonna get drunk, and all of a sudden I love y'all so much. Oh my God, my wife, I miss my wife. Oh, snipers. So, let's get to the end. Let's wrap up this video. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. All right. If you're watching this right now, and life has been heavy lately, you do not have to have everything figured out immediately. You are allowed to rest, you are allowed to feel, and you are allowed to heal slowly, right? And obviously, talk to somebody. You're going through something, talk to somebody. You know, it's only so much that you can handle within yourself, and you're aware of that. You know that. Talk to somebody. You got a homie? I'm sure you got parents. If you don't got parents, I'm sure you got step parents. If you don't got step parents, I'm sure you got some homies. You don't got no homies, then I'm sure you got family. You got cousins somewhere. You got, hey, look. My point is, talk to somebody. Why does my hair look like that? This doesn't matter. Okay, my hair isn't the focus here. But stop trying to carry the world alone. You know, and to the men watching this specifically, you know, your emotions matter too. You don't have to destroy yourself trying to look strong all the time. People care about you more than you think, and that goes for everybody. Mental health matters every month, right? Not just May. I think we need to be kinder to people, kinder to ourselves. And you know what? You got to realize that some people are fighting battles that you'll never see, right? And that's every day. And, you know, that's just more reason to be kind to everybody, you know. And if nobody has told you, I'm proud of you for still being here. Genuinely. Keep going one day at a time. You got it, bro. Lock in. 2026, we're up, we're happy. Summer's on the way. Let's keep smiling, man. Let's get it. Love Halo. See y'all.